Hello, it's Talking Reds. It's Friday. It's the day before the Merseyside derby, and I'm joined by Martin Fitzgerald to talk about what we've just seen, which is the press conference, all the build-up of thinking about nerves, thinking about how we're feeling, and thinking about how we felt that Jaeger was feeling. So, first of all, Martin, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm a lot better after the game in the week. It's always good to go into a game like this with a little bit more confidence. Good to see they got beat as well. So yeah, I'm good.
They've been beat twice, Martin, in a week. Who's counting? But yeah,
three times on Saturday.
What a terrible week they're going to have. It's all written. It's funny, isn't it? A lot of the questions in the press conference was about players, and I don't know where you stand with this. I feel like these people who are watching training ground footage, looking out for people who aren't there, aren't doing the blood pressure any good. His first questions were about Alisson, who he confirmed was fine, because people were worried they hadn't seen him in certain footage. And I'm like, surely we've all got enough to worry about at the moment, without eagle-eyed people going, is he there or is he not?
I mean, it isn't something I would ever do. It's not something. I'd never. But I mean, from someone that spent 25 years looking at the JFK assassination, I can't really begrudge people looking at a load of photos and trying to extrapolate whatever they want from them. We've all been there, John, on that. So. Just put everyone in the photos. That's what I'd do. Just have it like a big European Cup, like before the match. Just put everyone there, and then it sort of stops it. But it does seem to kind of create speculation. And I logged on to the press conference, and in a little sort of comment box on the right-hand side, there was lots of stuff about there's no Alisson. I thought, oh God, where's this come from? But it just turned out no one took a photo of him.
I guess also if they'd have just took a big picture in Dallas at the right moment, that would have helped as well.
Just take more. I think either take more or less photos is the answer to this. But what we certainly know is the current amount of photos isn't enough.
I'm interested who you think Naby Keita is in the JFK assassination story.
I would suggest he's unfit. Injured somewhere, couldn't make it to Dallas. Called in sick at the Texas School Book Depository. And they were like, oh, Naby, not him again. You have to go to see HR when you come in. It's been a bit too much. But he could be... Well, he said something strange, didn't he, sort of Klopp, which was that he's no longer injured. But we still might not see him, which indicates a sort of level of, cautiousness about bringing him back. He's a weird one, sort of Keita, because I don't know what you think, but he always seems to me like he hasn't just quite started his career yet with Liverpool.
Yeah, 100%.
And you're just waiting for him, and he's been here for years, and you're just waiting for him to sort of start.
Yeah, no, I think so. It'll be interesting to see if he is around the squad. Hopefully make the bench. I'm not sure if he'll be starting sort of anytime soon, as Martin says, but it'd be good to have him around. It'd be nice to have a slightly stronger bench than we had in the week. The lads who started did the business. And I would suggest, Martin, it was a good job they did.
Yeah, I mean, there's people on that bench I've literally never heard of. Who's this Kane? Who's this Kane person?
Jake Kane, highly rated youngster.
Yeah, I've never heard of him. So we kind of gone from a sort of very strong bench to a not so strong bench. But the first 11, as we showed on Tuesday, is still pretty good. And that you can't really look past that 11 starting at the moment. And you just don't want any more injuries, because I just don't think this squad can go any deeper. But you never know. This, Kane. Everyone's got to start sometime. Look at Owen and Fowler. He came on when he was 17, and he was great. So if he's highly rated, get him in, start him.
Jay Kane could be your favourite ever Liverpool player, but you don't even know it yet.
It's a great name, I mean, 2 syllables, Jay Kane, and I don't know if it's Jay like Jay Spearing, or he's just really cool and he's just got a J. He sounds like, I like him a lot, Jay Kane. I hope he's good. Where does he play?
Sort of attacking midfield. They're all the same. These academy players now, they're all nice on the ball, all very slight. Little short kids, they used to call them. But anyway, before we write off or praise the high heavens anymore, lads who are unlikely to play, I just want to talk a little bit about Mo Salah as well, because Klopp talked about him. It's more goals in the week. It's more brilliance from Mo Salah. Klopp was asked about whether he's sort of, is still a bit underrated and things like that. It seems to be the desire at the moment to worry about how much other people think about Mo Salah. I know what I think about him. I think he's brilliant, and that's sort of all right with me.
Yeah, it's. I always find a conversation around him a little bit strange, and I mean even in this season, which has been fairly poor, and every time I turn on the TV, either Gundogan has just scored a goal, or Fernandes has just scored a goal, or fucking Scott McTominay's just scored a goal. Yeah, Mo Salah is still, the league's leading scorer, and I can and it seems weird that, because you think that for this year we haven't always been that happy, and how it sort of seems at odds with our own experience. He is. It just goes without saying he's absolutely amazing, and I think different to a lot of other players, he doesn't really have those dips in form. So where you have people like Harry Kane, not Jay Kane, who used to have that thing where he didn't score in August. You used to have those ups and downs with sort of players like that. So then they got the praise when they came back up again. And I think Salah just doesn't really have that. And I think people just get a bit bored of saying how good he is. And there isn't another level for him to go to, because he's just been playing at such a high level for 3 years. And I think that's hard for punditry to get their head around sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we're going to have a little bit of a break now. We're going to come back and talk about the derby in a little bit more detail. But we also obviously did lots of this on our Weekender show. That is our free, one of our free audio shows that goes out every week on a Thursday night. Obviously, it was very Everton heavy. So here is a little clip of that.
We've not had a lot to smile about, have we, recently? So I think you do have to take each game by each game, really, which is what they done last season, whereas we were looking ahead constantly. Whereas I feel like it feels the other way around now, where we have to take each game into account and sort of just live each one, because we haven't had much to smile about. Like, let's be completely honest, we've been unlucky in some, we've been awful in some, and I think it was just really nice to see confidence oozing out of them again. I think that's something I've really missed from this Liverpool team, because even though we are not the same team, we've still got a lot of the same players who are still excellent footballers. And I'm just glad that they got a reminder of how good they can be. And I think, it was a big night for Kabak. I think, I don't think people realise how hard it is for him to come in at the stage he's come in under so much pressure after talk about centre-halves for all the season and how that will make everything better. He comes in, his first game's against Leicester, he sort of makes a mistake, if you want to call it that. You can argue about it till the cows come home. And then he's got to go straight into a Champions League game. Yeah, okay, against an opposition he's already played against. But I just think that was a really big step for him and in his confidence. And I just hope we take that into the Premier League. The change of pace was so good for Liverpool. Just having a team that actually play football really done us the world of good. But listen, we can't pick and choose how other teams play football. And believe me, and you've got to take Everton in consideration with this chat, and they won't be looking to do what Leipzig done. So I just hope that even if the style of play is different, that they can take the confidence with them instead.
get back with Martin now. Just want to show you a little bit of that. So if you're one of our YouTubers and you don't really tuck in to the podcast, hopefully that's give you a little taste there. We do 2 free podcasts a week alongside all our subscription stuff as well. So do have a look, do have a listen, and do check out what we're doing over there as well. So Martin, in terms of the game itself, then he's asked Jurgen Klopp whether, the fact that it is Everton and more kind of poignantly what happened in the last game kind of matters. And he said, no, not really. He said if we'd have played a week or 2 weeks after, it would have been on our minds. But now it's all forgotten. Do you believe him?
No.
Neither do I.
No.
I mean, Thiago's not forgotten. He was out for 3 months.
Yeah, that is... I mean, I was still scarred by that game, really. The injury. It's such a massive moment that it was a point in the season, even though it was really early, where I just thought, we're not going to get anything here this year. It kind of reminds me of the beach ball season. That beach ball just annoyed me for the whole year, because every time something bad happened, it was like, it's that fucking beach ball. Caused all of this. And the Everton game is a bit like that, which I kind of could have got I could have made peace with it had the goal stood. But it was just to do that at the end seemed like you would never write that if you were in charge of these things, because it's too cruel.
Yeah.
And so I think that he hasn't forgotten that. I think Virgil van Dijk hasn't forgotten that. And I don't think, Henderson's forgotten having that goal, chalked off. So, but it isn't like you kind of need those extra reasons anyway. It's always going to be a big game. And, the points between the two clubs matters at the moment.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Martin. It's a huge game in every way. Liverpool got the win in the Champions League, but need to turn around this league form fast. Everton are genuine rivals for top 4 places, whether we like it or not. And I'm very much in the not category. But there we are. And and Liverpool's home form has been poor recently, and they want to turn that round. And so everything kind of points to the fact that normally you talk for games behind closed doors, I'm sure Jurgen Klopp and the coaching staff have had to do a lot of having to G the players up effectively. And I'm sure, Henderson as captain does as well. You don't really feel that that'll be necessary for this game. In fact, kind of discipline or ill discipline might come into it from both sides.
Yeah. And one of the things I think is interesting is that in this bad run, people kept on saying, they need to have a heart-to-heart. They need to have a big chat.
Clear the air talks.
And it turned out that they had one of them in November. And it's like, how many times? And I kept thinking, how many times can you sit down and talk about this? But then the trip to Budapest happened, and I do think, as you know, there's nothing like getting on a plane with your mates.
Yeah.
Right, and it goes back to a thing that Ferguson said. When I can't remember who he gave the advice to. It might have been to Dalglish, but he said, whenever you come into a club, first thing you should do is take your team away on a trip, because you can see who you've got then. You can learn more about those, people in that environment than you ever will within a training session. You will see who the good people are, who the bad people are. We've been on holiday together. We know what that's like. And I think that couldn't have come at a better time. And the fact that the plane journey home is after a win means you've got the best type of environment. And that plane must have been a great. So as it stands at the moment, I assume that they get into the dressing room, get changed, and they all get driven home, or they get on a coach, and it's pretty miserable. But that plane must have been, bouncing on the way back. And if there's one thing you're looking to sort of change, it isn't the mentality, it's the harmony. It's what Adamelia at the start of the season described as the vibes. and hopefully going into this game, that little trip to Budapest would have done them the world of good.
Yeah, it's interesting he went the night before, which sort of felt a little bit unnecessary in a way, and so it was maybe sort of planned. And look, I'm sure they didn't get smashed in the hotel bar or anything, but maybe they were sort of messing about and enjoying each other's company. And like Martin says, I'm sure they enjoyed themselves on the way home. I wonder if they still have the duty-free carriage and stuff like that on their planes, whether they could buy a bit of aftershave, large Toblerone.
Yeah, I reckon they've got the whole hotel to themselves or something, because I don't know what it's like in Budapest at the moment, but I'd imagine there's not a lot of tourists there. So they probably booked a whole hotel and just kind of bonded a little bit through that, little bit of table tennis, that what's that game, Killer, when you run around?
Yeah.
And I love that game. Why can't they play that more often? I haven't played that since I was school. So they probably played killer table tennis, and that would be the thing that when we win the Champions League, they'll look back on and say it was that table tennis tournament.
That'll be in the books. That'll be in all the books. The Tony Evans 83-84 equivalents of this season. We'll document that.
I don't know what table tennis is, but I love it.
It's a really good line. Do you think we're going to win, man? Are we going to win?
Yeah, I feel good. I feel confident about this. And I think that I'm a big believer in sort of narrative. And I think that when something like that happens, it needs to be put right. And I think we need to put it right on Saturday night.
The Anfield Wrap are big believers in narrative too, and we'll be doing loads of storytelling over the next 24 hours on our subscription video and audio service. The guys are off at Anfield at the moment doing a preview for the video. Neil and Gareth are doing that, which is terribly exciting. They've sent some pictures. I missed the place. I got a bit of a tang in my heart, but a nice one. And there'll be loads of audio stuff going out as well. Obviously, the Team Talk show is also being recorded right now, which Josh hosts, and then loads more tonight and then tomorrow. Across social media, make sure you're following us on all our platforms. We'll be doing hot mic commentary, which we're really looking forward to. And then straight after the game, there'll be the post-match pint and hopefully a big get-in from Gareth to celebrate a win. I'll be hosting the post-match audio show. Martin Fitzgerald does ratings of sorts. And Ben Johnson, I mean, who knows what we call that, but he puts words on a website as well. Loads more. Loads more besides. You've got Neil Atkinson doing stuff too. But basically, the best place to cover a victorious Merseyside derby, we believe, is the Anfield Wrap. Martin.
I'm just going to say one more thing before you go, because you probably can't say it, but for the last 7 or 8 games, I have listened to every game I've watched with the Anfield Wrap hot mic. And I can't tell you what a difference that makes to watch it with you and Neil doing the commentary, as opposed to whoever's on Sky or BT. So if you support Liverpool, it's so easy, honestly, to just download the app and annoyingly, particularly, I mean, Neil, who does a sort of lion's share of it, he's a really good commentator.
Yeah,
it's like, is there nothing he can't do? But it's really funny, and you feel like you are watching it with your mates. And at this time, it's been a godsend for me. I just really recommend it to anyone out there that hasn't given it a go yet. It makes everything better.
What an endorsement that is. Hot mic. The app is completely free to download. It's available on iPhone and Android. Just put the code in Anfield Wrap when you do download it, because that helps us out. But it's completely free. It syncs with your telly, and you can enjoy us instead of whoever is doing Saturday night. But in the meantime, thanks to Martin, and hope you enjoy Up the Reds.